I keep hearing about the Cholas and Tamil merchants having this extensive international network of trade across Asia. What did that really look like?
So I think what really makes the Cholas extraordinary is that while most medieval Indian kings understood the importance of trade, the Cholas took it to another level. If you look at the Chinese court documents that talk about Chola embassies, these are mostly led by merchants. You have cases where the ambassador will give some gifts on the king's behalf, and then he'll give some gifts on his own behalf.
So, what you're saying is that these merchants weren't just your everyday shopkeepers or traders, they had some real influence in the kingdom?
So, merchants are very closely connected to the Chola court, and very often the boundary between a merchant and a courtier is not very clear. When we talk about merchants today, we think of them simply as these amply fed individuals who are sitting and counting their coins. But the reality of medieval merchants is that these guys were moneyed and mobile elements of South Indian society who were looking to make a profit in various ways. If it means helping a king with intel, then fine. If it means serving as a king's ambassadors, then fine. If it means expanding into a region that a king has conquered and setting up shop because your competition has appeared, then it's fine. But also it means sourcing materials for new temples that are being built. So for example, today camphor is everywhere. In all of our homes, we burn camphor in the altars. But where does camphor come from? Camphor is not an Indian plant. Camphor is extracted from the aromatic trees that would grow in Sumatra. And who was getting it from there in the 11th century? It was the merchants.
In your new book, Lords of Earth and Sea, you mentioned the Ainutruvar, this league of merchants who controlled most of the trade in Tamil Nadu. But how did they even get so powerful?
The Ainutruvar, over the course of the centuries, I think, were perhaps the single most influential organization in determining the course of South Indian history. They originate in the 8th century CE in Ayavale in the northern part of Karnataka, and then they gradually begin to move south. It's a very flexible organization. Many people call themselves the 500, but they don't have a single head office. They don't have a single chief merchant who's taking all the decisions. Instead, these are like a whole bunch of different local franchises that, by claiming to be a part of the 500, are able to operate on the same commercial footing as partners in other parts of India. These are all educated, literate, mobile people, and merchant, the word really doesn't do justice to just how remarkable and just how influential they were.